After evaluating the Memphis tape, I thought offensively we did a lot of good things on the tape. Starting with the quarterback, he's getting better and better. There's a couple of small mental errors we had in there a couple of times in the game, but he's starting to understand the offense is coming to him a little bit more. There's a few things more that we got to add to continue to give our guys in the run game some better opportunities or more opportunities. Both Hassan and Anthony had an over a 4 yard average, and we could have got them the ball a little bit more in some situations on some reads. It would have really, really helped us. Defensively, I thought that, to be quite honest, the restriction of our defensive end position really hurt us in this game. A lot of the splash plays you had, I thought that they were direct, kind of connected directly to our defensive ends, the way we play them. We play them with fast players and go underneath. And I thought they were restricted in this game as much as I've ever seen the restriction of the position. And that's something that I'll, of course, address a little bit later. We do have to play better at the linebacker position and fitting in our gaps. That's where we have to do a better job. We will do a better job. This is not like our defense to come out and play the way that they played this past week. Collectively, we've got to put it together where defensively we play as well as we did in early part of the season, and now our offense will start to play better and have a little bit better flow and movement like we talked about 3 weeks ago. And those two things together will give us a chance to be really successful down the stretch here. We're going against a team, Tulane, this week that Coach really loves to run the football. He does not have a problem with running it on 3rd and 7 to 10. He'll run it 3 times in a row, which is a big part of their offense. It's controlling the time, controlling the clock. So when we get possessions on offense, we've got to make the most of them. Defensively, I'm really, really impressed with their middle linebacker position. Zachary Harris, 6 foot, 230 pounds or so. Upperclassman that's played a lot of football, and I think the strength of their defense, though, is the way that they don't mind putting their corners in man-to-man situations. Our challenge this week, a big challenge, goes to our wide receivers, not just Trayvon Brown, but getting Taj Deans back in the flow. Terrell Green, the rest of the guys, we have to come out and make plays in one-on-one situations this week. And because of that, they're going to have a quarterback player because of Holton and everything he can do. But there's some big play opportunities in this game if we can handle the one-on-one pressure and stress that they give us.
How's Holton doing physically? Got banged up for at least one play last game. How is he doing right now?
He's doing really well. We reduced the amount of runs he had from the week before, but you can't really control him sometimes from pulling it down and running it. He has a bruise, a nice little bruise on his arm. He's banged up a little bit some other places, but he was at the walkthrough ready to go yesterday, going through everything. So his body is definitely built a lot different than most people that play the position. But I got to get him to understand that the sliding is part of who he has to be now, and running out of bounds instead of getting a half-yard extra will restrict some of those shots. The other part of it is protection. We've got to protect him better. We have a few issues from time to time in the game, which we're gonna try some new. Not only new protections, but we'll see some new personnel mixed in there in the offensive line.
It appeared when the others got hurt that Norman was kind of warming up. Was he an option to come in the game this past week?
To take one snap, yes, he was an option because Reed did not get cleared right before the game. So Reed did not get cleared right before the game. He was going to come in and maybe take one snap, and then we decided to go with Darius Penix and run the ball and get the first down there. But yes.
What about Fetty?
He was ill all last week, so he didn't take a practice snap all last week. We didn't get him back on the field until late in the week. He was with us yesterday. Hopefully he's doing a little bit better, but he was with us last week. He just did not take a practice snap all week.
The restrictions you talk about the defensive ends, can you expand on that at all?
Holding,
Okay.
tackling, letting guys run by you, grabbing by the inside of your jersey and tackling them down on several occasions. And the first one happened on the second play of the game, and defensively the second play of the game. All of you guys know that the second defensive play of the game was a screen that scored. Nate Harvey was the backside player that would turn into the rat killer, which tackles the screen from the backside. We had no player because he was on his back on the ground with the tackle on top of him.
Scotty, after the game, Gary McGinn was asked if he felt pressure to win for you, and he said, and he basically said, no, this is attached to my name. This is about me and this university. What do you make of? Did you see what Gary said? What do you make of what he said?
No, I think that all of our guys have ownership over what they do. I think that You know, if you ask Garrett in detail, what that means is no excuses, no explanations. It's directly connected to all of us, and that's the way that I want everyone to feel on the football team.
Scott, you've operated this year with the absence of a full-time athletic director, which is kind of unique in the world of college football right now. Is that something that's been a positive or negative for you personally?
Well, you know, it's hard to say whether it's a positive or negative when you just going to work. You know, some of the things that we wanted to get done, you know, training table, we weren't able to get those done. You know, the way that we would have liked to get them done is something that hopefully will come here in the future. So I can't necessarily say if it's a negative or positive. I will say that having Dave Hart has really, you know, shed a light on some of the things that we really need to grow in. And having that hood raised and some honesty and everything, not only in the program, but on the outside of the program and everything connected to it. But definitely having him has been very beneficial to us. I think that, you know, the more and more the things that we understand, just being, you know, not pointing the finger and not doing this, of just being open on what other people are doing and what other people have and the opportunity that their student athletes have. We got to be very honest about all those things. So at the end of the day, some of the things that we wanted to get done, we weren't able to get them done quite yet for apparent reasons. And moving forward, I think that it's always a positive to have, you know, more help. But we have been able to open, of course, the hood and look at a lot of things that, you know, I'm not going to necessarily get up here in this stage and say this, and that. But there are things that we have a long way to go on.
Scotty, after the game, Trayvon talked about how he felt he's become more of a leader this season. Where have you seen his progression from previous years to this year being a leader for the younger guys?
I think the number one thing about Trayvon is he does not and has not missed one day of practice. That's leadership in itself. When you're the best player on the team throughout the year and you practice, and other people see that, then they'll see that, you know, it's a situation where they need to do it as well. The other part where I think the leadership has really grown is, you know, sometimes when you have a freshman quarterback coming in and starting in a leadership role, the first thing that you do as a receiver, because I've been there, is to start watching everything that goes on with that quarterback and making sure that he's doing things the right way. That hadn't been his deal. He's simply been held accountable by, you know, Holton. Told him a couple of times in the game, hey, you need to be faster in this part of the route. We'll be wide open. And he was just like, I got you. Let's go on to the next one. So I think that's leadership in itself, humbling yourself around, you know, a quarterback, and then also just practicing every time. He's been much better. He's grown so much. When I first got here, I heard a lot of the stories, you know, whether this or that. And to be honest, since the day we got here, he's been headed up and trending up. So we just got to keep that going. But the biggest level of leadership, I think, is, you know, coming to work. You got to work every single day, whether you got a banged up hip or banged up rib or ankle. You know, people respect people who come to work every day no matter what.
Scott, the turnover is still a big idea. It seemed to kind of get out of control on Saturday with both the offense and defense doing it even after just big plays, not turnovers.
Yeah.
Did we see that on the field this week?
No, that was simply for two reasons: touchdowns and turnovers. Now, we were handling it internally because the players don't only have control over that, but there's another part of that that needs to be corrected, and that's something that'll be corrected. Now, if you see a turnover, with the way we need turnovers right now, you might see me inside of the selfie as well. Because, I mean, we can say whatever we want. The turnover and touchdown selfie was designed to not be a selfie. It was designed to be a teamie, if you will. I think I just created a new word. And everywhere else, when these things happen, what do you see? A guy gets tackled, fumbles the ball. The guy, defensive end, makes a great play making the tackle, scripts the ball out, and another guy who just shows up from doing nothing picks it up and gets to go on the sideline and do whatever, you know, the flavor of the team is. Well, for us, we didn't want to make it about that. We wanted to make it about all 11 people on the field getting together to commemorate the moment that we made a play, whether it was a touchdown or a turnover. That's it. Touchdowns and takeaways. We'll have that corrected. You won't ever have to answer that again. But it's too bad that while the touchdown selfie is going on or whatever, I'm watching special teams, okay? I'm helping the defense. That won't happen again because it's been brought to my attention.
3 of the next 4 games are on the road. How do you kind of approach, after a home-heavy stretch, kind of going on the road and finishing that way?
Yeah, we just got to go back to work. You know, we've done it to where we've been on the road And I thought the South Florida game was, was going to be a huge challenge for us to go on the road because we were on the road, and there was just a lot of things going on. What we have to do right now is focus on what we're doing well, and I think that we've found a few things offensively by a complete restructure kind of our offense 3 weeks ago with Holton and the things that we're doing to be positive and keep going in that direction. Defensively, there's a few things we got to clean up, but I will go back to saying what I said. I do think that there was a heavy influence on the restriction of those players. We got to take our defense on the road and play well. That's why we had a chance at South Florida. Our defense has to go on the road and play well, and now we've added a quarterback that we've got to protect that can move the ball as long as he continues to grow in the offense, which I know that he will.
Scotty, your team continues to get better. The whole league's getting better. Tulane kind of curb stomped USF on Saturday, which is kind of a surprise. Talk about the improvement of your team and where you feel like they're getting better.
Okay. So segue, because that's kind of a segue. If we go on the road and turn the ball over, guys, it will be a tough slate if that happens. No matter where you are, turning the ball over is what hurts you. And South Florida turned the football over in some ways that you normally don't see. A receiver spins out and throws the ball 20 yards back down the field. A muff punt return that directly resulted in the touchdown. Just a lot of ways, so we can't turn it over. But where we've gotten better at is, I think, our route discipline on the offensive side of the ball. We understand the scramble drill really well. We're blocking better on the perimeter offensively. Our left side of our offensive line has been really, really sound. We've got to continue to grow and give the right side of our line that opportunity. I think Garrett McGinn is getting better and better by the week. I'm very impressed with the center right now, Peyton Winstead, where he is in his progression. His mental errors are going down. He's playing harder. He's in situations to where he's fighting through and battling through some small dings. So we've gotten a little bit better there. Defensively, where we've gotten better at, of course, throughout the year, in my opinion, is our front seven, if you will, our front six, and the way that they build into it. I've been really impressed with the growth of our nickel position with Sutton. Every week kind of coming into some more plays and making more plays. And I just thought we had a little bit of a setback at linebacker this week on some alignment issues and alignment issues that really upset me because Coach Blackwell and we put those guys in some of those positions earlier in the week and throughout the week that we should be able to get corrected. But we've gotten better there. We've gotten better at not giving up, of course, the deep balls down the field. We got hit for a slant that was a backbreaker, but we've done better playing, top down on some of the plays. So we've gotten better. I think that our specialist has been as good as anybody, and us trusting him and growing the trust in him. I felt like it was some certain times in the game that I probably would have went him at 55, 56, 57. It stops us from making some bad decisions and going forward on 4th and 6, 4th and 5 in that 35 to 30-yard range or 40 to 30-yard range. So those are some of the places we've gotten better at.
Coach, defensive tackle-wise, y'all were without Ferguson and Bryce went out. How much did that hurt? And then also, did those guys be back this week?
So that was something that hurt us because of our rotation. And you guys have heard me talk about all year. We like to play those guys around 35, 40 snaps. Alex Turner, I'm going to start with him. If you want to see something impressive, what he did in the game was unbelievable. And then he came over and asked us we want him to play at the 3 technique so that he could take on double teams, even though he was having to play every snap. That was impressive. It did hurt us a little bit. It hurt our rotation. We look to get Jalen back. We probably won't have Raekwon back this week, but we do look to get Jalen back. We need Jalen to play in this football game because of the stress that it puts on our rotation. But we'll also have to call on some of our younger kids, Chandler Meteros, some of those other guys that are involved, that you don't really know about. So we're going to have to add another guy to our rotation. It had a little bit of an effect on us. Thank you.